By early May 1976, the long decades of conflict in Vietnam are officially over. The country is unified, and the streets are adjusting to the first rhythms of peacetime. For a husband and wife named Ba and Ma, this transition marks the first time in 30 years they are not evading crossfire or enduring forced separations. They finally have the opportunity to build a life together in a single home. On the evening of May 5th, Ba asks Ma to stay with him in Ba Ria for a few more days, but she is a local official with a report to finish. She tells him she has to get back to her desk in Bien Hoa that night, promising they will reunite the following weekend. At 4 a.m. the next morning, a hidden mine detonates directly under Ba's bed. It had been planted by remnants of the defeated forces who were still hiding within the government compound. Ba is killed instantly. Ba had spent his entire adult life surviving frontline combat and some of the world's harshest prison camps. To see why his death occurred just as the fighting stopped, we have to look back at the survival record he and his wife had already built. Their life together began in 1949 with a wedding where the groom was absent. Ba was away on active duty with the resistance, leaving Ma to attend the ceremony with only a tray of betel nut and a pair of earrings gifted by her mother-in-law. While rural tradition at the time often demanded a wife's total submission, Ba insisted on a partnership of equals. He rejected the master and servant dynamic of the past, creating a bond that would remain steady through years of living apart. Throughout the conflict, Ma maintained a strict civilian cover. She spent her days as a street vendor, using the exhausting labor of carrying heavy baskets of food to move through villages and support the resistance unnoticed. Her role was split between labor and defense. She worked the rice fields and dug trenches under the cover of night, often carrying a rifle alongside her farming tools to protect the village from sudden sweeps. This wasn't a marriage of comfort, it was a partnership of survival. Their commitment to each other was tied directly to their shared commitment to their country. The logistics of their family were shaped by the war. They only managed to see each other briefly every 2 years, yet during these short windows, they brought 8 children into the world. In 1952, Ma was arrested while 4 months pregnant. During her interrogation, she used her own logic as a shield, arguing that since military medicine required official doctor's notes, she couldn't possibly be a supplier for the resistance. While Ma fought through the legal system, Ba was tortured and eventually exiled to the notorious offshore prison on Phu Quoc Island. He would spend years behind these barbed wire fences, separated from his family by miles of ocean. This forced Ma to raise their children in forest hideouts. After giving birth in the jungle, she often had to send her newborns away with couriers to live with strangers, hoping they would be safer in distant villages than in the active war zones. Every child that survived these conditions was a victory. Raising a family of 8 in the middle of a decades-long war was an act of quiet, persistent defiance. On the morning of May 6, 1976, Ma returns to Ba Ria to identify Ba's body. When she pulls back the burial cloth, she finds that while the blast had been violent, his face remained serene, looking exactly as if he had simply fallen asleep. Ba had survived frontline combat and the most brutal prison system in the region, only to be killed by a hidden trap just as the country achieved the peace he had fought for since 1949. Ma spent the rest of her life ensuring that Ba's sacrifice was not the end of their story. She raised all 8 children to adulthood, fulfilling the plans they had whispered to each other during the rare moments they were together during the war. Ma's mother once compared their family to a humble earthen pot. She said a flashy copper pot is easily stolen, but an earthen pot, forged in the heat of a kiln, is built to endure. Ba's life ended in 1976, but his story continues through the 8 people he and Ma shielded from 30 years of crossfire. Their lives are the evidence of what was saved and what it cost to save it.